Hey everyone, I am keeping track of time. It's getting close to 6. Gonna give everyone a few more minutes to sign in. There's sign-up sheets to speak over by the door if you've missed that on your way in. They are based off of property. There's a for column and against column that helps us keep track. So if you've missed the sign-up sheet, it's still over there by the sign. I'm gonna wait for a couple more commissioners to come in and then we'll get started.
Doing all right, doing good. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, life is good. You're busy.
everyone. I'm just giving staff a few more minutes to get ready, and then we'll hit the road. Staff, are you ready?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to call to order the February 3rd, 2025 Richland County Planning Commission meeting. Staff, please confirm the following. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, a copy of the agenda was sent to the news medias persons requesting notification, and posted on the bulletin board located in the County Administration Building. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Staff, can you please take attendance for today's meeting?
All right, Taylor. Metz.
Here.
Grady. Here. Yonke.
Here.
Duffy.
Here.
Sirks.
Here.
Durant.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the February 3rd, 2025 Richland County Planning Commission meeting. As planning commissioners, we are concerned residents of Richland County who volunteer our time to thoroughly review and make recommendations to County Council. Our recommendations are to approve or deny zoning map amendment requests. Per Title VI, Chapter 29 of the SC Code of Laws, Planning Commission may also prepare and revise plans and programs for the development or redevelopment of unincorporated portions of the county. Once again, we are recommending body to County Council, and they will conduct their own public hearing and take official votes to approve or deny map amendments and text amendments on a future date to be published by the county. Council typically holds zoning public hearings on the fourth Tuesday of the month. Please check the county's website for updated agendas, dates, and times. Please take note of the following guidelines for today's meeting. Please turn off or silence any cell phones. Audience members may quietly come and go as needed. Applicants are allowed up to 2 minutes to make comments. Citizens signed up to speak are also allowed 2 minutes each. Redundant comments should be minimized. Please only address remarks to the commission and do not expect the commission to respond to questions from the speaker in a back and forth style. That's not the purpose of this meeting. Please no audience speaker exchanges. No audience demonstrations or other disruptions to the meeting are permitted, nor are comments from anyone other than the speaker at the podium. Please remember the meeting is being recorded. Please speak into the microphone and give your name and address. Abusive language is inappropriate and will not be tolerated. Please don't voice displeasure or frustration at a recommendation while the Planning Commission is still conducting business. If you have any questions or concerns, you may contact the Richland County Planning staff down below here. This moves us to number 3 on our agenda, additions and deletions. Are there any motions, commissioners, for additions or deletions from the agenda? Staff, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we just want to make note of, on page 24 of your packet, there is a locator map. The information is correct on it. It's just a duplicate of another map, so we'll make those changes prior to it going to the zoning public hearing. Also, on as part of the updated agenda that was emailed out early this morning, it was left off, but we wanted to note that one of the tax map numbers under the first case, actually specifically the last one, that's 0143, it originally came out and probably in your printed packets as 2143, so we just wanted to make that note. It has been corrected in the updated agenda. Also, staff would like to administratively defer the administrative review into the February PC meeting.
March PC meeting?
I'm sorry, March,
Yes.
yes.
Gotcha. With that, do we need to make a motion to approve the updated agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. The chair makes a motion to approve the updated agenda with the revisions that staff just identified from the updated agenda that came out early morning, as well as removing item 5, it would be C, the administrative review. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner Durant. With a motion and a second, staff, please take a vote to approve the agenda.
All right. Durant? Aye. Sirks?
Aye.
Duffy?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous.
Thank you, staff. Takes us to number 4, the approval of minutes from prior meetings. The staff provided the commission with copies of the transcript of the commission's December 2024 meeting. Do any commission members have any comments or concerns regarding these transcripts? Hearing and seeing none, the chair makes a motion to approve the minutes unless there's an objection. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. With that, staff, can you please take a vote to approve the minutes?
All right, Taylor,
Aye.
Metz,
Aye.
Grady,
Aye.
Yonke,
Aye.
Duffy,
Aye.
Cirques, Durant.
Aye.
All right, vote is unanimous in favor.
Staff? Take this to number 5 on our agenda today, the consent agenda. I always like to explain it. The consent agenda is an action item that allows the commission to approve road names and map amendment requests where the staff recommends approval and no one from the public has signed up to speak against the amendment, or no member of the commission is in need of further discussion on the request. Mr. Grady, do we have any cases on our agenda today where the staff recommends approval and no one has signed up to speak against it?
We do have one such case. It is case 24-057MA, which is item 5B4 on the agenda. That is, there's a recommendation, a statement of the amendment being in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there are no people signed up to speak against the amendment.
Thank you, Commissioner Grady. The chair makes a motion to approve the consent agenda with the road names and case number 24-057MA. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Second from Commissioner Metz for the consent agenda. Staff, can you please take a vote?
All right, Durant. Aye. Cirques,
Aye.
Duffy,
Aye.
Yonke,
Aye.
Grady,
Aye.
Metz,
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
All right, vote is unanimous.
Thank you, staff. This gets us rolling in part 5. B, the map amendments. Case number 1. Take it away, staff. Provide some information.
All right, today's first case is case number 24-051MA. The applicant is Curtis Thomas. The parcel's location is Starling Goodson Road. Consists of 3 parcels with it totaling of 5.94 acres. The existing zoning is R3. The applicant is requesting the RT district, and see, based on the comprehensive plan, the proposed rezoning is consistent with the objectives for the comprehensive plan, as the requested zoning does align with the objectives for the residential, or does not align with the objectives for the residential development with the neighborhood medium density future land use designation. According to the comprehensive plan, the neighborhood medium density district is intended to support medium density residential neighborhoods and neighborhood scale commercial development designed in a traditional neighborhood format. These areas serve as a transition between the neighborhood low density and the more intense mixed residential high density urban environments. The plan also emphasizes the creation of medium density residential neighborhoods designed to provide a mix of residential uses and densities. The RT district does not align with the intended uses and development standards of the neighborhood medium density designation, which prioritizes higher densities and smaller lot sizes. Additionally, the proposed rezoning conflicts within the Lower Richland Strategic Community Master Plan, which calls for higher densities and more intensive uses than those permitted under the requested designation. And just as a quick note, I'm sure everybody's seen the staff reports have changed. It looks a little bit different that there's not a staff recommendation, because ultimately staff was not making a recommendation. We were just acknowledging whether it was consistent or inconsistent with the comp plan recommendations. So that's why some of that language is a little bit different. You'll kind of see in some of the conclusions, we went back and forth between using inconsistent and in compliance, but we will be more consistent in the future with using whether it's consistent or inconsistent with the plan moving forward.
Thank you, staff. Appreciate it. I approve the update. Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff on this case? Okay, hearing none, do we have someone sign up to speak? Commissioner Grady?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We have the applicant, Phil Bradley.
Bradley? Come on down. You have 2 minutes. Give us your name and address.
My name is Curtis Thomas. Address is 2801 Compass Court, Fort Liberty, North Carolina, 28307. As stated, I was the applicant that applied for it. I'm just looking for a zoning that can accommodate pretty much something else that's more affordable in that area, more like a manufactured home if possible. I did some research last year and found out that it wasn't zoned for that at the current time. Due to timing and also financial restraints, it's just that a mobile home a manufactured home be more affordable for myself. So I'm going through a process to request to rezone it to accommodate that.
Anyone else sign up to speak for this one?
Yes, we have Kim Murphy.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Happy New Year. Kim Murphy, 154 Old Laurel Lane, Chapin, South Carolina. I'm really not here to speak for or against this particular rezoning, but I thought it might be a good opportunity to maybe offer some suggestions on the staff report under parcel area characteristics to maybe better or more fully describe the development in the immediate area. And then the chart that is under zoning district summary, it was explained to me at the last meeting that the properties listed are not properties that are contiguous to the subject parcel. I think the zoning that is listed for those parcels, let me back up. The parcels on this chart, I think, should be the parcels that are contiguous to the subject parcel so that you know what the direct impact is going to be. And then the third item, related to an item that I am really here to speak against, is that I noticed there were multiple errors in the agenda packet. And I can't say whether the other cases have multiple errors, but one of the big ones is related to the principal use table that's given to you that shows what the current zoning will permit and what the proposed zoning will permit. There are multiple errors in the case I'm here to speak about. So again, I don't know if you're relying on that, it may not be accurate in the other cases. Thank you.
All right, David Houston Sr.
And both podiums are open with the mic, so come down to either one and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is David Houston Sr. I live at 1839 Lowerton Boulevard, in junction to Starling Gusson Road. And my concern was, a couple weeks ago, I saw the sign out there for the property to be rezoned. I'm the administrator of the majority of the property on Starling Gusson Road. And I had no concerns or no commitment from nobody trying to rezone the property. So that's why I'm here tonight, because of that. I have not been communicated with. And like I say, I'm the administrator of the majority property on Starling Gusson Road.
Staff, do you have a comment for that? The applicant request a change? Do we have the proper people we're speaking to?
So as part of that, if a applicant is not the property owner or is not the head of whatever company that it may be listed under, we ask them to submit the owner authorization forms as part of the map amendment. So, you know, if there is a property owner that said that they, you know, did not give their authorization, we would need to look into that because that is part of the requirements up front to submit for the map amendment application.
Are you saying you're the owner of this property?
Beg pardon?
Are you saying that you're the owner of this property?
Not
That we're
all
talking-
of it, majority on Lowerton Starling Gusson Road, I'm the owner of the majority of it.
do we move forward?
So if the individual that's commenting is not the owner of the subject parcels for the map amendment, there is, other than maybe them voicing their opposition for it, there's not a requirement basically to, other than to notify them as an adjacent property owner that a map amendment request is before Planning Commission and County Council.
I've been sitting up here since 2019, and this is the first time where it seems like, so you don't have to be the owner of the land to request a map amendment?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. But you do have to have permission from the owner of the parcels that are part of the subject request.
Okay. So we can continue to hear this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, I paused your time, so you have another minute and a half, sir, if you want to continue to speak.
Yes, with that being said, I appreciate it. But again, like I said, it's a family-owned section over there on Starling Goodson Road. And it's, the land has been divided into certain sections, different sections. It's not a whole lot of acres. And understanding where that zoning gonna be take place at, there are 3 parcels in there, and not one, there's 3 in there that's gonna take the place of one. And the majority of people that own the property have disagreed and disapprove of it. So that's the only thing I'm saying. And I'm speaking on behalf of some of the property, like I said, that I own as administrator over. And the main thing I'm saying, I'm disapproving of it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Grady, anyone else sign up to speak?
Yes, we have a second David Houston.
Hello, my name is David Houston, Jr., address 220 Osprey Lane, Hopkins, South Carolina. I was just looking at this right here. Can you explain to me what is the difference between the RA3 and the RT? We're going from an RA3 to a RT.
I will defer that to staff, but I think finish any other comments you might have, and then we'll have staff explain it. Because usually we give the public 2 minutes to speak, your opinion on it, and then we'll, as a
Okay, I would
commission.
like to know what the requirements are. What kind of homes can you put on there? Right here it says come from RT to RA3. So it's showing 5.94 acres. So up under Curtis Thomas, 5.94 acres. So what type of homes can be put on this property? What type of homes can be built on this property?
Right, sir. We always look at the zoning as if it's a blank canvas and if it fits to the comp plan of the area. And we can't ever tie anyone to what they say they're going to build because that can always follow through. So we always try to be good stewards of the county and of the land itself. Mr. DeLage, staff, is there any other property description information that we can give at this moment?
So not other than just to kind of compare the zoning districts, what is currently zoned, the R3 district allows for a smaller lot and a higher density than what the RT district does. The current R3 district allows for stick-built homes, single-family detached. It allows for modular but not manufactured homes. Versus the big difference in what's allowed is that the RT district will allow manufactured home, modular homes, and then single-family detached structures. So that kind of the high level big differences. And then the RT district also has higher density and dimensional standards. So meaning that it allows less dwelling units per acre than an R3 and has a greater setback.
Thank you. In general, I see RT as a lower dense zone, and R3, they count up R1, 2, 3 in higher density. Any final comments, sir?
So what about mobile homes?
The manufactured homes were treated differently in the new code. They are left in, Mr. DeLage, I'll defer to you, RT as well as R5?
So the manufactured homes are permitted in the, thank you. Just to make sure, since we've done some text amendments over the years with the new code. So it looks like by special requirements in the AG, HM, RT, and R1 district. And most of those requirements are dealing with the setup with and underpinning and things of that nature. But is not allowed in the R3 district, what the parcels are currently zoned.
Again, thank you, staff. Okay, sir, as I stated my guidelines at the beginning of the meeting, this is not a back and forth style. I want to give enough time to everybody speak, so I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
30 more seconds to wrap up your thoughts, and then I'm gonna pass it on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay, well, I just want to get a clear understanding, the difference between the R3 and the RT. I just want to know exactly what type of homes can be put on the R3 and the RT. So he's saying mobile homes can, if you decide to go to the RT, then you can put mobile homes on there.
Sounds like based off of staff's description.
How many per acre? How many homes per acre?
We'll answer that question, but then we're gonna defer to the next speaker, okay, sir?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. DeLage.
So it is one principal dwelling unit per lot, regardless of lot size. However, if you're looking at the RT district, the density is one dwelling unit per acre.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate you coming out tonight. Commissioner Grady, anyone else sign up to speak?
We do not have any more speakers for this case.
Okay. The staff, since we are able to approve or deny a map amendment with someone coming in that's not quite the owner, I'm just reviewing it. This is now open on the floor then for discussion, commissioners. And any further questions for staff? Yes, Commissioner Taylor.
Just out of some of your concern as well. If we have a case before us, can we assume that the applicant has gotten all of the necessary approvals to come forth and request a map amendment? Or a rezoning, excuse me?
Yes, sir, that's correct. There could be that outlier where maybe something hasn't caught up with the assessor's information. Typically what we do is, as part of that, the statements are basically, there's a section in there that the applicant is submitting to the best of their knowledge, the most truthful and accurate information. And as part of that is those owner authorization forms. We compare those with the assessor's office information. So again, it could be an occasion where something had changed, but typically they would need to show that they are the property owner, or if they were part of an estate or a manager, something like that, that they had the authority to basically have a say in the map amendment as part of that. Then at that point, we would consider, pulling it because they wouldn't have had the appropriate authority. But at least at this time, and staff didn't see anything that was out of order. But we can always make sure that we take a look at it prior to going to the ZPH meeting later on in February as well.
My understanding is that Curtis Thomas is the owner of these 3 parcels.
So,
And-
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, and Mr. Smith may be clicking on it. So this particular RVBM Properties LLC, there's a owner authorization based off of that. As Mr. Curtis and the adjacent properties, there is a signature on that as well, from what looks like the Thomas Willie, and I don't want to fib off the top of my head. So Shirley Thomas, widow of Willie G. Thomas, is what is officially in the record.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Any other questions for staff or discussion? Open on the floor for motions as well. Staff, would you mind turning on the zoning layer on the map? One can see there was a change here. It would be inconsistent with the property surrounding it. Staff, is this pretty historic zoning though, as well, in this area? Like, usually we've seen 1907, it's been.
So it looks like the original zoning in 77, when zoning was assigned in the county, was RS2, which is a similar zoning district to the RSMD. And then, of course, with the adoption of the 2021 plan becoming effective in this March of this year, it was designated, or basically it translated to the R3 district.
Thank you, staff.
Chair,
Commissioner Sirks?
I'd like to make a motion. This time I'd move that we forward proposed map amendment 24-051 to County Council with a recommendation of disapproval.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sirks. I have a second from Commissioner Grady. Okay, with a motion and a second, we'll take that up for a vote.
All right, the motion is for disapproval. Frierson? Taylor?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Duffy?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Durant? All right, the vote is unanimous in favor of disapproval.
Thank you, staff. That goes as our recommendation to County Council, and they will have their meeting on, do we have a date set for that one, Mr. DeLage?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. It's the 25th of February at 7 p.m. back here in County Council chambers.
25th February, 7 p.m., same location. Thank you. We'll move on to our next case now, which is a 5B2. Case number 24-054MA. I'll hand it back over to staff.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I
Yes.
apologize. I forgot to mention this earlier with our road names approval. So our longtime serving E911 coordinator is here with us tonight. Unfortunately, it is her last meeting with Planning Commission. She is retiring for the second time. So I just wanted to mention and recognize Ms. Alfreda Tyndall. She's been with the county for 44 and a half years, and 32 years of that has been serving with the Planning Commission. So I just want to take a moment to recognize her while she's here.
Oh, you deserve a round of applause. 44 years. Wow. Thank you. Did you have anything you wanted to say after? You're awesome. Come on up.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Alfreda Tyndall at 204 Stonegate Drive, Columbia, South Carolina, 29223. I just want to thank you all so much for your time, and I really enjoyed working with the Planning Commission. Of course, like you said, I've been here since, for 44 and a half years, since June 6, 1980. And I pray that my work here was good servitude to the citizens of Richland County by ensuring that their road names and addresses are in compliance with 911. And it's been a pleasure working with each of you. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure working with you. Thank you for bringing that to attention. This is great. Back to you, Mr. DeLage.
All right, so our second case of the evening is case number 24-054MA. The applicant is Brian Harbison. The location is 209 Summer Haven Drive. It is a 1 acre parcel. The existing zoning is RT. The proposed zoning is the R2 district. And just to mention here, the reason why it is eligible to apply because it's under 2 acres is because it's adjacent to another existing zoning district of similar character. So it is in the neighborhood low density future land use category. Because of that, the proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives of the comprehensive plan, as its development standards do not align with the recommended land uses and desired development patterns outlined in the 2015 plan. Specifically, the requested zoning district permits a zoning density that is contrary to the recommended lower density of neighborhood low density designation. However, the rezoning request aligns with the existing residential development pattern and zoning districts to the south of the site.
Thank you, staff. Commission, any questions for staff? Okay, Commissioner Grady?
Yes, we have the applicant signed up to speak, Brian Harbison.
Hey, good evening. Brian Harbison, 209 Summer Haven Drive, Chapin, South Carolina. We have applied to rezone this from RT to R2 specifically just to, it's, as you can tell on the map, it's a very narrow lot. We're trying to cut the setbacks down by 10 feet. We met with Councilman Branham out there. He kind of gave his blessing somewhat. Got all of my surrounding neighbors to sign a form saying they have no objection. And we actually put a deed restriction in saying that we will not subdivide the land as well. So we're not increasing density at all. So that's basically it.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
And we also have Kim Murphy.
Kim Murphy, 154 Old Laurel Lane, Chapin, South Carolina. And based on what the applicant said, that would be something I would support. But according to your agenda, it shows that multi-family units are allowed. And I'm not quite sure what the issue is with this. I know staff is busy and there were a lot of items. 4-family dwelling says is permitted. It says 3-family dwelling is permitted. It says manufactured home is a special requirement. It is not. It also says antennas are permitted. So based on the zoning district chart you have, that was my concern. And if this chart is erroneous in the other cases, I maybe just be cautious. And in this particular item, agenda item, this case, staff already mentioned that one of the maps was incorrect. Also, there's a typo. It says maximum density standard, no more than 12 units per acre. I don't know if someone cut and paste. There is the number 3 there. But again, the biggest concern is having the current zoning designations correct in your chart, as well as the proposed. and actually the current zoning misses one of the classifications. Thank you very much.
Irby.
Not have any other speakers for this case.
Commission, on the floor for discussion and questions for staff. Any comments from staff?
Just one real quick, Mr. Chairman. So it appears that some of the charts that are just there as information contain some of the old designations prior to the text amendments for some of the uses that is being referred to by the previous speaker. So we will correct that. It does have some of the uses that are in there, such as the 2-family, 3-family, and 4-family. But however, your motion today will not be to approve uses that are not permitted in the district, as they are not listed in the adopted permitted table of uses. So I just want to mention that.
Thank you. Back to the commission. Discussion and motions as well.
Chair,
Mr. Durant.
move that we forward map amendment 24-054 MA County Council for recommendation of approval based on the fact that the request aligns with existing residential development pattern and zoning districts to the south of the site.
Thank you, Commissioner Durant. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's a second from Commissioner Sirks.
Yes.
Okay, with that, we have a motion and a second, so staff can take a vote for a recommendation of approval.
All right. Mr. Durant?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Duffy?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Frierson? All right, the vote is unanimous in favor.
Thank you, staff. That's a recommendation of approval. May I assume February 25th, 7 p.m.?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right, that's where the county council will hear this case. Thank you. We can move on to the next case. 5B3, case number 24-056MA. Flip it back to staff.
All right, our next case is applicant is Philip Bradley. The location is 737 Ross Road. It is 2 parcels totaling 3.59 acres. The existing zoning is RT. The proposed zoning is R5. The comprehensive plan recommendation on the future land use map is the neighborhood medium density. And the proposed zoning is inconsistent with the objectives of the neighborhood medium density designation in the comp plan. The requested map amendment does not align with the residential guidelines and recommendations for this designation. According to the plan, multifamily housing is recommended near activity centers and within priority investment areas where there is access to roadways with adequate capacity and multimodal transportation options. The proposed rezoning does not meet these location criteria.
Thank you, staff. Commission, any questions for staff? Commissioner Grady, anyone sign up to speak?
Yes. This time, the applicant, Phil Bradley, is signed up to speak.
Good evening. My name is Phil Bradley with Haven Communities. We are requesting a rezoning from RT to R5.
What was your address, sir?
405 Western Lane.
Yeah, thank you.
The parcel that is behind these three has been rezoned to R5 about 4 months ago. So these 3 parcels are contiguous to that zoning, and we have a townhome project that we are currently in design that's going on a parcel behind these 3 pieces. So we were wanting to rezone so that we can roll townhomes in through those 3 pieces of property as well. For some reason, I don't know why it's not showing the rezone that was approved. but the parcel, I've got the drawing right here, if y'all would like to see it.
All right, anything else
Any
you want to tell
questions?
us? No. Good. Thank you, sir. Anyone else sign up to speak?
No.
Okay. Staff, are we looking at the most up-to-date information? Or is there something that needs to be updated here?
Yes,
Okay.
so sometimes it takes some time between, the, third reading and the minutes being approved, and, the assessor's, database being updated. However, we can, reach out to them and let them know. Sometimes they wait for an email from us, to basically do it. But I want to also note that it is listed, in the, existing zoning, and use chart and the staff report as R5, so.
Staff, in the consent agenda, we approved 747 Ross Road. Is that right next to this property?
It is, if you look at it, it's kind of to the south and then the east of these parcels. And it was based off of the requested zoning district aligning with the recommendations for zoning districts of similar character for that future land use.
This one is across the street.
That is correct.
Thank you. Okay, questions for staff, commission?
Question?
Yes, Commissioner Taylor?
Did you follow the applicant's statement that there were other parcels? What, do you know which parcels he's talking about when he says there's parcels behind it that were approved for R5?
Yes, sir, Mr. Taylor. On the screen, the highlighted parcel that's on there, where you kind of, where the hand is now, that was part of a previous rezoning request to the R5 district.
And relative to what's highlighted, where the subject?
Great, and then, yes, down there where Mr. Smith is showing, is the subject, one of the subject parcels of this request. So it is actually contiguous to the previous request.
And access to the parcel behind it is also off Ross Road, or?
So without looking at the plans, it does have frontage, or the vast majority of the frontage is on Ross Road. It also does have some frontage on Raven Road for the previous request. However, for the current request, Ross Road will be the road frontage.
Thank you.
Verify the small parcel to the right of the one highlighted. That's 747, okay. Thank you. Commission, discussion or motions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Grady.
I would like to make a motion to send case 24-056MA to County Council with a recommendation of approval. The rationale being that the R5 zoning designation is consistent with land use designations in surrounding parcels.
Thank you, Commissioner Grady. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Metz. Okay, with a motion and a second, staff, can you please take a vote? This would be for approval.
All right, so motion for approval, Frierson? Taylor?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Duffy?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Durant?
Aye.
All right, motion is unanimous for approval.
Thank you, Commission. Thank you, staff. Once again, February 25th, 7 p.m. That should be when this case is heard by the County Council.
And Mr. Chair, just
Yes. Staff.
the town hall meeting for this case, as well as the 747 Ross Road, will take place on February 13th at 6 p.m. And that's going to be at Killian Park in Blythewood. So I just want to mention that for both those cases.
February 13th, 6 p.m., Killian Park. Correct?
That is correct,
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman.
Thank you. And I'm going to give us a second as I see people stepping out. For those leaving, have a good night. Thanks for coming out. Moving along, we're now at case 5, which is case number 24-058MA. Back to staff.
All right, so this is case number 24058MA. The applicant is Phil Mabry, and I apologize if I mispronounced any names tonight. The location is 812 Sandfield Road. The parcel number is R178000113. The acreage is 64.84 acres. The existing zoning is AG. The requested zoning is the HM district, or Homestead District. Looking at the comprehensive plan recommendation for this area, this neighborhood low density. The proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives of the neighborhood low density designation, which recommends low density housing developments in these areas. The requested zoning does not align with the density recommendations for this designation. Additionally, the policy guidelines state that new residential development should be served by adequately supplied public water and sanitary sewer service. However, records indicate the area is not currently served by public utilities.
Thank you, staff. Commission, any questions for staff? Hearing none. Commissioner Grady, anyone sign up to speak?
Yes, we have the applicant, Phil Mabry.
Good evening. I'm Phil Mabry, 4005 Devereaux Road. As you can see, we're requesting a zoning from AG to HM. And I first, can you zoom in on that parcel for me? I want to note a change. In the packet, you've got another parcel included that is not, will not be in this rezoning request. Can you click on that parcel south, a little bit to your left? Couple more. One more. Next one. Next one. That right there, that was included in the packet that I've got. I'm not sure if y'all are seeing the same thing, but that is not included in this request. That dark green area to the north is the 64 acres that we're requesting to rezone to HM. To my knowledge, HM is low density 1.5 acre lots. That's kind of what we're looking at here. And it looks, if you follow the 2015 comprehensive plan, I'm seeing a suggestion of, let's see, what was it? Neighborhood low density. I'm not sure if y'all can answer what zoning that is. From what I looked at, it looked like an R2. So I'm actually proposing a lesser density zoning than what the comprehensive plan is suggesting. And that's about it. Any questions for me?
No, sir. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
actually do have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Healy.
Yes, sir.
The part you told us to subtract from the subject parcel,
Correct.
does it have a separate tax map?
That has a
ID?
separate tax map number, yes, sir.
So, okay, so
I'm
it's-
not sure why it was all one parcel at one time and it has been split off. But that long, narrow piece that connects to Langford Road is a completely different tax map number. Yes, sir. Do I have any more time? Also, most of the adjacent parcels, not 100%, are zoned HM, that are adjacent to me, so that's kind of another reason we'd like to rezone to HM from AG.
Thanks, sir. Ready?
Yes, next person signed up to speak is David Brunson.
Hello, good evening. David Brunson, 196 North Melton Road, Blythewood, South Carolina. I live right at a mile from the property the gentleman's referring to, and I'll be super brief, but a couple things I wanted to ask y'all to respectfully consider before you make a recommendation to the council is things like the infrastructure out there already. Scouts taxing Blythewood pretty hard as far as the infrastructure goes, and I know the council's got a lot of things in the works and things are coming, but I don't think we're quite ready for this. Things like roads in our schools. My children attend Richland 2 schools, and they're already in portables, and they can't build the thing fast enough to accommodate our children. And also traffic, even on this low, small 2-lane road, is already terrible and very dangerous. And if you add more to it, I think we're asking for trouble. And I think I understand what the gentleman said as to why he's also asking it to be HM. But if I heard the zoning council staff also speak, this is inconsistent. I keep with the zoning master plan or whatever that thing was in 2015. So I respectfully ask y'all to not send this to the council with approval. And thank y'all for your time very much.
Thank you, sir.
Next person up to speak, Nikki Ward.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak for this property. First, I'd like to say that I've lived in Blythewood my entire life.
Let's start with your name and
Oh,
address.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
I
so
should do
sorry.
that. I'm so sorry. My name is Nikki Robertson Ward. My property address is 148 North Melton Road in Blythewood, 29016. Okay. So back to what I was saying. I've lived in Blythewood my entire life, and it's where I grew up. It's now where I'm raising our children. Our town is beautiful and special, but is no longer the small community that I've grown to love and appreciate. Slowly, business is taking over priority of the people. Scout Motors is inevitable. It's there, it's growing, we see it. But turning our entire town into a place for a company whose future is not promised is foolish. For those who, like myself, have been in Blythewood our entire lives, we remember Mack Truck and the utter failure that it was to our community with Winsboro right down the road from us. We don't need any more neighborhoods. We don't have the roads, as Mr. David was saying. We don't have the infrastructure to support it. We're already taxed with traffic. If you've ever been to Blythewood, you know exit 24 and 27 should take you 5 minutes. And on any given day from 24 to 27, it's 20 to 45 minutes to get home, which is ridiculous. And Scout is not even here yet. I just ask the council to respectfully consider the property that is zoned from us, to not have any more neighborhoods out our way. There's neighborhoods popping up everywhere else, and we request to not have any more near our home. We need our land because it's when or if Scout fails, Blythewood will still be here, and I pray that we still have some of what makes it so special left. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you.
Last person signed up to speak on this case is Mike Menchinger.
Mike Mensinger, 2090 Deerwood Farm Trail, Blythewood. We as well, my family, at least the in-laws, have lived in the area for 50 years, and I'd have to agree with the last speaker in regards to the traffic and the thoughts about traffic and, you know, what's going on in that area. When DOT came before the Blythewood Planning Commission, they talked about not planning for future, you know, problems. I think that's, you know, rather short-sighted. The roads there now are already starting to deteriorate and full of potholes and everything else, you know, from the excess of traffic coming through there. Having said that, you know, the zoning on this property, and the fact that a large portion of it is wetlands and cannot be developed, it's probably not a huge impact on the area. But I just want you to, moving forward, continue to take into account the fact that as more and more of these subdivisions get placed in Blythewood, down Sandfield Road, all that traffic's got to go through that Langford, Highway 21, Blythewood Road area, which has already become, you know, excessive, as she's already mentioned. So just want to make that comment.
Thank you, sir.
That is everyone you have signed up to speak on this case.
Commissioner Grady? Okay, Commission, this is open on the floor for discussion. We're back to questions for staff as well.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Grady.
Yes, question for staff, because I think there may be some confusion on this point by myself or speakers. Could someone explain why an HM designation is not consistent with a neighborhood low density land use category?
Sure. So I will try to explain it to the best of my ability. The 2015 comprehensive plan was adopted with the old zoning code, and with those zoning designations, you also had, you know, those future land uses. Now that we've adopted a new land development code, this future land use map has to use a kind of a translation of what was once rural has now become RT, AG, and HM. So when we talk about low density, in one term, designations that were in those designations were RSE and RR and RU, but since we've transitioned that RU into 3 other designations, hypothetically translatable, the way we looked at it was RT would be the one that would be closest to the low density, but as far as HM and AG were to be referred to as, we consider that more of a rural or rural large lot. And that's why we say that it was not compliant, because in the future land use map, it actually wants a higher density of more of like an RT or an R1.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Grady, thank you, staff. Question?
Question.
Taylor?
With the correction that was made as far as the portion that's not supposed to be included with the subject property, does that change the proposed or the acreage? No, it does not. Okay.
Staff back here.
Staff,
That's
you,
it.
can you back that up, staff? Yes.
That's correct. What I am guessing on, but we need to double check is it probably at some point the GIS text zoning layer has not caught up with the subdivision, so it's still showing the what was formerly part of that. But staff's made a note. We'll make sure to correct that before the zoning public hearing.
Thank you.
I'm a GIS guy by day, so don't take that slight there. Commission? Discussion or a motion? If I were to discuss, go ahead, Commissioner Durant.
Question for staff.
Yes.
What is the difference in the density requirements for AG and HM?
So the HM is 0.66 dwelling units per acre versus the AG is 0.33 dwelling units per acre.
Yes, Commissioner Grady.
I would like to make a motion on case 24-058MA to forward this with a recommendation of approval. The reason being that a HM zoning designation is consistent with the surrounding land use.
Commissioner Grady, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Durant. With a motion and a second, staff will ask for a vote. This would be for approval.
All right, Frierson? Taylor?
Aye.
Betts?
Aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Duffy?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Durant?
Aye.
All right, vote is unanimous in favor of approval.
Thank you, staff. Thank you, Commission. Again, February 25th, 7 p.m., correct, staff?
That is correct.
That's when County Council will hear this case. Thank you, everyone who came out tonight for this case. Gonna give them a walkout. Okay, moving along. Almost halfway through, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of cases today. Case number 6, which is case 24-059.
Yes, so our next case, the applicant is Joanne Williams. The parcel is located at 3931 Baldwin Road, TMS number R14103-0310. The acreage is 2.43 acres. The current zoning is the R6 district. The proposed zoning is the R2 district. The comp plan recommendation for this particular area on the future land use map is the mixed residential high density. The proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives outlined in the comprehensive plan. Mixed residential high density designation encourages zoning designations which provide for a full range of uses, support of neighborhood, community, and regional, commercial, and employment needs, which includes higher density single-family and multifamily developments. The proposed residential district does not provide for a density that is supportive of the recommendations of this designation, nor will the proposed district be in character with the land uses of the surrounding area.
Staff, questions for staff, Commission? None yet? Okay. Commissioner Grady, anyone sign up to speak?
We have the applicant, Joanne Williams.
Joanne Williams, 3931 Baldwin Road is the property. I want to build single-family residence. And the reason why I think it's better not to be multifamily and rather to this designation is that the lot narrows to a point, and half of the property, half of the lot is wooded and heavily wooded, and there's a steep slope. So the only portion of the property right at the front would only really allow a single family, or possibly up, this zoning could have another 1 or 2 houses, but it's definitely a very narrow lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, and the only other person we have is Larry Pyle.
Okay, sir. You think you could project from there? You want to? Okay. Staff, would that be okay for this time? Okay. So, give us your name and address as loud as you can, and 2 minutes.
My name is Larry Pyle, and I live at number 2 Haven Road in Columbia, South Carolina, and I own approximately 30 acres adjoining the property that Mrs. Williams is requesting to be rezoned. for her to build on it, she has to bring dirt in to fill the springs that are on the property. And I have a topo map that I had done when I was trying to buy that piece of property. I have a topo that shows the springs on the property, and I was unable to buy the property because the property did not have a clear deed. I could not get a clear deed when I did a property check with the law firm. But somehow Mrs. Williams was able to convince the widow of the person that owned it. She was able to get a deed to it. I was never able to get a deed to it, and I had been offered the property myself. But Richland County administration, or Richland County engineer told me even if I bought it, that I couldn't build on it because of the springs that were on the property. If they were covered up, the springs would more than likely come out downhill from that piece of property, and it would not be a safe thing. So in 1990.
Your final thought on that, sir? To keep you to your time, I'll give you 30 more seconds.
Okay, in 1990, I allowed Richland County to tear down the courthouse here and dump it on my property because I had a license to have it dumped there, and I had to build a retaining wall to keep that debris from moving over onto the lowlands, and she has completely eliminated the safety of the embankment that I had to build by order of Richland County. She has removed the vegetation and the dirt from that property to help fill those springs in on her property. And we have currently filed a suit against her to restore the stability of the embankment, and that is coming up in courts soon, so
Thank you.
I cannot tell you when.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Take that in consideration.
We have no further people signed up to speak on this case.
Okay, thank you. I do know that staff turned on the topo lines as well as the floodplain. I mentioned before, by day, I'm a map guy, so when those lines are close together, that shows a change of elevation. Questions for staff? Comments? Open on the floor for discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Or Cirques?
I have a motion.
Yes.
This time I'd move that we forward the proposed map amendment 24-059 MA to County Council with a recommendation of disapproval.
Thank you, Commissioner Cirques. So a motion for disapproval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Grady. Okay, with that, staff, this would be a motion for disapproval. Can you please take a vote?
Durant,
Aye.
Cirques,
Aye.
Yonke,
Aye.
Grady,
Aye.
Metz, Taylor,
Aye.
Frierson. It is unanimous, and just for the record, Mr. Duffy left the room, so.
Yes. But we still have a quorum.
Correct.
We're working. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, so that goes as disapproval. That case will be taken up February 25th, 7 p.m., Council Chambers. Thank you for those who came out tonight for that one. Going to keep moving along. Be case number 7, case 24-060 MA. Thank you.
And so the applicant for case number 24060 is Marco Sarabia, and I apologize again if I butcher any names. The location is 711 Bluebird Lane, and also 1039 Bluebird Drive. Two parcels as part of the request, 14104-04-38 and also 39. The combined acreage is 1.02 acres. Currently zoned R6. Requested zoning is R2. And just note, these two parcels are just north of the previous case. So the comp plan recommendation is the same, mixed residential, high density. The proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives outlined in the comprehensive plan. Mixed residential, high density designation encourages zoning designations which provide for full range of uses, supportive neighborhood, community, regional, commercial, and employment needs, which includes higher density single family and multifamily developments. The proposed residential district does not provide for a density that is supportive of the recommendations of this designation, nor will the proposed district be in character with the land uses of the immediate area along Bluebird Lane. Excuse me.
Thank you, staff. Any questions for staff? Nope. Okay, hearing none. Commissioner Grady, who's signed up to speak?
First is the applicant, Marco Sarabia.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time speak to the people. Okay,
Thank you for coming out. And what's your name and address?
okay, my name is Marco Sarabia. I live in 2928 Alpine Road. And my request is change the zoning to R2. When I buy these two property, me and my wife, we have a dream to build a house. So we don't know that was on R6, so I don't know what I mean R6 before. And when we decide to start doing all the application, they come for the permit, they say we can't build it because it's on, it's not a zoning. So that's why I come in here to ask for change for R2 and trying to build a house for me and my wife.
Sure.
And once again, Larry Pyle. He's not there anymore.
Okay, he's like off. Okay. Anyone else signed up?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Commission, questions for staff? Open for discussion? And staff, this is up the road a little bit.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thanks. Well, at the time, with the old code, this was a swath of denser mixed use. Is that correct?
Well, looking at the parcels kind of on the western portion of Bluebird Lane, those were zoned the residential multifamily high density district. And then of course, east of there was some light industrial parcels. But with the adopted zoning change that became effective in March of this year, or excuse me, we're in 2025, March of 2024, the R5 and R6 districts do not permit single-family detached structures in them.
Thank you, staff. And discussion or motions? Also in our packet, these two, the one that your hand is over is part of what we're considering, but the one just south is not, correct? That's separate.
With both the parcel that is highlighted and then the one the hand is on is part of this request. So.
Thinking, Commissioner.
If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion.
question I get on it.
Commissioner Taylor, go ahead.
So the highlighted parcel, the yellow highlight, I guess, is that I mean, it looks like a single family dwelling on it now. Is that correct? Can you tell?
And we're just checking what the assessor's database has it as. And we'd have to do a little bit more digging into why it's not showing the dwelling data. That could be for a number of different reasons. It could be that it's given its age or its potential. Is it habitable? Some of those factors could play into that.
The one right below it.
So I believe the one below it is. There are a number of non-conforming uses in the area. So essentially stuff that's been established prior to the most current code, and in this case, established before we had zoning. So, given that the year on that construction was 1948.
Thank you, Stan. Works.
Mr. Chair, at this time I'd move that we forward the proposed map amendment 24-060MA to County Council with a recommendation of disapproval.
Got a motion for disapproval. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Durant. Okay, with the motion and a second, staff, can you please take a vote?
All right, motion.
Disapproval.
Thank you. Firestone?
I can't, sir.
Yeah, I only want to say this is not a house. This is we're up saying my tool. This is small. It's not a house. My utility, whatever you say, it's nobody living over there. So it's like if my mowers and my tools at work. It's not a house. It's a small shed over there.
That answered your question? Okay. All right.
And I apologize. Taylor, did we get a vote from you? I'm sorry. I lost track.
I don't think you started the vote yet.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I did
Start from the
get
beginning
Jennifer
again, I'm sorry.
Firestone. Taylor?
Aye.
Metz? Aye. Grady?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Durant?
Aye.
All right, motion is approved, unanimous.
Thank you, staff. That goes as a recommendation of disapproval for County Council, and they will hear this case February 25th, 7 p.m. Thank you for coming out for that case. We're going to keep on moving. Case 8 tonight, which is case 24-061MA. Give it to staff.
All right, the applicant is Brad Shell. The location is 10205 Wilson Boulevard. The parcel number is, there's two of them. It's 14900-01-04 and 17. The existing zoning district is the HM and RT district. And the proposed zoning is the general commercial district. The parcels are located within the Economic Development Center corridor and are also located within the Priority Investment Area 7, which is designated around the I-77 Wilson Boulevard interchange. The proposed map amendment is consistent with the 2015 comprehensive plan. The subject property or the subject site is within the Economic Development Center corridor designation, which supports zoning districts that allow complementary retail and commercial uses along a primary road corridor near employment centers. The requested zoning district provides for uses that support the Economic Development Center / corridor designation and recommendations. Additionally, the subject site meets the location criteria for this designation. And just as one note, this may look familiar. There was a case previously last year just south of the parcel. So if it looks familiar, that's the reason why.
But it was a different parcel.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, staff. Commission, do we have any questions for staff? Okay. Hearing none, Commissioner Grady, I see we have a list of people signed up to speak.
We do. First, I'll just ask, is the applicant Brad Shell here? And do you wish to speak, sir?
Go on down.
Thank you. Brad Shell, 739 Hampton Hill Road, Columbia, South Carolina. I don't have too much to say on this. Fairly straightforward. It's 14 acres seeking general commercial rezoning. I would note that the intent here is not residential. It's a commercial development. And, you know, we think that it's appropriate for the area as it is. On the north, there's a storage facility right across the road. On Wilson Boulevard, there's a 7-Eleven and other retail being proposed. But with that said, you know, happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next up, Jeanette Robinson.
Janet Robinson, 1170 Halls Pond Road, Blythewood. I don't know where Alfreda Tyndall went, but I was going to thank her for helping me name my road 32 years ago. Well done, Alfreda. Enjoy your retirement. So my concern about this is, once again, my property is at the end of this watershed. The water from this particular property is going to hit Hawkins Branch watershed. Every time development is approved on this watershed, my property is getting hammered. August 3rd, I sat in my car 4.5 hours because my dam was underwater, and that is the only access to my home. And I have begged this county to either buy my property or to stop the nonsense. If they can put in detention ponds that don't drain out in 48 hours, because you got to remember, all this residential sitting on this watershed, and now all this commercial sitting on this watershed, a rain event happens, detention ponds set up to drain in 48 hours. If you've got 10 parcels, regardless of what it is, draining in 48 hours, it hits my pond in 48 hours. We are being severely damaged. This also drains through a conservation easement, and I would beg you, I implore you to look at Palmetto Federal Conservation, I might be saying that wrong, owns several acres right above my property, and it was set there to preserve this conservation easement. So anything that drains to this watershed impacts that conservation. That conservation is put there to preserve. We are not doing a good job as this county preserving. My other concern about this is, yes, it is in a business corridor, but when you head back down Wilson Boulevard toward Columbia, it goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, almost to I-20, 2 lanes. And our infrastructure, we don't have it. And I don't know when the county's gonna slow its roll and, you know, start looking at infrastructure instead of keep rubber stamping everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Greg Mancini.
All right. Greg Mancini, 181 Turkey Farm Road, Blythewood. And I concur with her. Just because there's already businesses there, I don't think that's a legitimate reason to keep putting more. We're already congested enough there as it is. Not quite as bad as Blythewood Road is yet, but we're getting there. And for all the same reasons, I don't want an apartment complex going up right next to my property as well, as I stated the last time I was here. So there you go. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out again.
Next up, F.R. Dozier.
Good evening, everyone. I'm F.R. Dozier at 540 Holland Road in Blythewood. We were here in December concerning commercial property for apartments, and we're back here again. We have commercial enough. We have the 7-Eleven, which has a gas station, which no one seems to talk about. The Exxon is a gas station and it sells food. And you're close to Turkey Farm Road, on that part of Wilson where I think you're trying to build, because there's so much being thrown out about Wilson Boulevard. We do know that this county does not have any plans to do any expansion for Wilson Boulevard, which the gentleman last month, when he came to talk about the property on Turkey Farm in Wilson, that there's 5 lanes. I'm not an engineer, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see we're technically 1 lane that has a lot of turning lanes. It's not truly 2 lanes. It's already congested and bad enough. Talk about the water. Behind the complex I live and behind my homes, there is wetlands as well. And to put more on us and that area, it just makes no sense. And someone has to go out and look at the roadway to see that Wilson really is not 5 lanes as was described before. It's hardly even 2 lanes. Portions of it are 2 lanes for a bit, but mainly they're turn-off lanes, either right into the apartment complex I live, into the 7-Eleven, and into, on the left side, you turn onto Turkey Farm Road. Right at the corner of Turkey Farm and Wilson is a daycare. So I don't know which side of the daycare or behind the daycare that they're planning on building, because it would not be Wilson Boulevard. So we're confused, and you're throwing everything at us, and the maps say something, but they don't say enough. To me, it's not just the map. You need to go look at what's there. You have to see what's there. It's not what that map says, because the map doesn't show the true story of what's happening there on Wilson Boulevard. But it is definitely not 5 lanes. We don't need any more commercial. The 7-Eleven with the gas station and the Exxon gas station, that's commercial enough. Trying to get in and out of our homes when you come down Wilson Boulevard past
Your
Turkey
final
Farm.
thought, I don't want to cut you off. I
Yes,
don't give everyone enough time.
going south. It's 2 lanes, but you have to move over to your left because it runs out. So it's, like I said, it's not even 2 full lanes on any part of Wilson Boulevard. We do not need any more commercial bills. Thank you so much.
Coming out.
Next speaker, Roberta Young.
Mr. Bird? No? Okay, next.
Next, Carolyn LeGrand.
My name is Caroline LeGrand, and I live on Turkey Farm Road. And as everyone else said, there is a 7-Eleven, there's a community store there, and there's also the storage unit. And this property runs between Community Road and Turkey Farm Road. And as it is with all the school traffic we have in the mornings and afternoons on Turkey Farm Road, we don't know where the entrance is going to be. If they try the entrance on Turkey Farm Road, it's more congested. And as everybody else has said, it goes from 4-lane to 2-lane right away when you're going south on Wilson Boulevard. I don't think it's a good idea to have more commercial stuff there. There's enough commercial stuff already. And I have to read my notes here and put my eyeballs on. The school is right behind this property. So we already have all that school traffic coming in and leaving. So if you have commercial property there, how they go get there? Turn on Turkey Farm during the school traffic, and that's even more congestion. So I just don't think it's a great idea. It's not 4-lane that far down south. So if the state or whatever wants to add 4 lanes on down to I-20, that would be different. But when you go south on 21, I would say approximately 300, 400 feet past where Turkey Farm is. It squashes it in 2 lanes, and that's bad for traffic already in the morning, so I don't think it's a great idea. I'm done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions?
I appreciate you coming out.
Next up is David Hickey. Okay. Last person signed up is Marquita Harley.
Good evening, Council. Marquita Harley, 189 Wading Bird Loop in Blythewood. And we are off of Turkey Farm Road, and I echo the sentiments of the residents that have already spoken. But in addition to that, just a few things. We talking about a 4-lane road. It's truly a 2-lane, which one of them is a turning lane, as the lady said already. We have a 7-Eleven with a store, gas station. We have the Exxon store, gas station, QT with the gas station and a store, all within a mile of Westwood High School, all of which that area is congested, all of which it starts to flood, all of which the water backs up for us, even in this new community that we thought the builders took care of initially. But this whole area lacks the necessary infrastructure to support additional residential businesses or anything else. We are truly overwhelmed in that area as we speak. The water has broken down our roads, our sewer system. There's so many different things that come into play when people want to build, and you think about the environment and the people who currently live there and pay taxes there. It just doesn't make sense for us. And just overall, we have Scout on Community Road, you have your warehouse, you have storage, and like I said, the gas stations. To put another piece of business, another business, where are they gonna go? What time of the day are they gonna go? Where's the water gonna come from? Who's gonna support the traffic? What happens in an emergency? I have family that works for this county, and I hate to see emergencies happen when we don't have enough people to come to the area. Just in general, in conclusion, development decisions regarding these properties should reflect the needs and desires of the current residents, and I'm one of them, and so are so many of the people who spoke today. With a focus on sustainability and the well-being of the community, to hopefully this council will take into consideration and collaborate with community members and developers to figure out a better result to that situation in that area. We don't want to be overwhelmed. We don't want to be unsafe in our neighborhood. And if you lived in that area, I would think you'd think twice before saying yes. Hopefully that's not what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
All right, that's everyone we have signed up on this case.
Okay. A commission is open on the floor for discussion and for questions to staff. I would ask staff to turn on the wetlands layer because we've heard that discussed a lot. I do remember this area was last month and in December meeting and last fall as well. Staff, these are wetlands layers. Am I correct?
Well, the wetlands layers are from the NWI, the National Wetland Inventory. Comes with a little bit of they're notorious for their best guess. However, if there is any wetlands on site, they will need to be delineated as part of the development approval, which comes after any kind of necessary zoning perfection. But again, if they are on site, then they'll be delineated and dealt with at the time of development.
2-foot contours. Thank you. Just this area in general, as I hear public, lots of drainage. Thoughts, motions?
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner
Question for
Durant.
Staff. Where is the next general commercial area?
So looking at the map, looks like the next closest GC is actually going to be across the interchange. However, it should be noted that while it is not general commercial, the PDD that is to the east does designate some commercial uses, which is how the convenience store or gas station was able to locate across the street from the site.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Grady.
I suppose I would like to offer the opportunity to staff, if they care to take it, to respond to the comments that we've heard this evening, that there is essentially a risk of flooding from development in this particular corridor, if that is whether you consider that to be an accurate assessment or not.
I can only speak in one particular area that I know that has been impacted in the past. Specifically, so I'm speaking about past impacts. I'm not disputing any current or future impacts. But with the property that was mentioned by one of the speakers near Hollis Pond Road, there had been some residential developments around it that has some offsite impacts to that property. The other properties I'm not aware of. Typically, so the way that the county kind of functions is if it's under development, it falls under engineering new development. If there are any potential concerns from stormwater, runoff or non-functioning silt fences or something going off the stormwater pollution prevention plan. Once it's developed out, so in any kind of instance where you have a subdivision that's been turned over to the county for maintenance, then that goes to the stormwater division, because at that point, the engineered conveyances should be there to handle the stormwater. But if there's not, then they would be the ones to handle it. So, but when it comes to kind of circling back to that new development, as part of the review for any new development, we're looking to make sure that they meet the code requirements, the minimums, but that they meet the requirements, that they're handling their stormwater. So at the time of actual approval, the post-construction runoff cannot exceed the pre-construction runoff. There's certain thresholds and designations that are, I don't administer that section, so I don't know them off the top of my head, but they should be met at the time of development approval, because part of that site plan or subdivision approval is also going to be engineering's approval and review of those stormwater retention or detention ponds.
Yeah, that's clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you, staff. Any further discussion, Commission? Eye contact. Commissioner Taylor, how are you doing?
Good. Honestly, and I understand the residents' concerns, but what I'm thinking about is whether even we know or if staff knows the processes and procedures. Again, we have one small piece in front of us, although there's a lot of surrounding impacts, floods and watersheds and all these other things. So if approved, the question becomes, I don't think zoning is the reason everything gets through. I mean, it's just one step in the process. My question is, what step in the process are all the other concerns addressed? I mean, because let's say it does meet the criteria and it can be zoned what's being requested. But if there are all these other concerns, when do these concerns get addressed? Like I said, we have a pretty small piece of the pie, a small job in front of us. And though I understand all the concerns, it still meets the criteria that we have in front of us. And reluctantly, I would, say it's compliant. But my question is, that part is compliant, but it sounds like the other pieces are not. So the non-compliant pieces, when are those addressed, if staff knows?
Yes, so during the if site plan review, if it's a commercial use, or at the subdivision review, if it's a single family residential, but in this case being the GC, it would probably fall under that commercial. At that point in time, as part of any approval, you are right, y'all are, as planning commissioner and county council, are that initial step into getting a property zoned for a district that allows certain uses. Once zoning is perfected, then they would administratively submit any site plans, which would be basically their full civil set, where they're showing their stormwater, they're showing landscaping, they're showing setbacks, parking, any kind of required buffering. At that point, then the stormwater would be handled. If there are wetlands on site, then we do have a requirement for a water quality buffer. So that would also be included if there are wetlands on site as part of that process. So that kind of comes ahead. And it doesn't ever really stop, but that's the point to where the project is being designed to minimize those impacts. But there's always the potential for if that were to cause an impact in the future. We have a department that would handle that response or request.
When does the resident's voice stop, so to speak?
Once the zoning is perfected, it doesn't necessarily stop. There's just not a mechanism for zoning public hearing or for a public meeting like we're having tonight. However, that does not prevent them from calling in a service request or contacting their council district representative if they have questions or concerns about a development.
I just wanted that on the record because, again, I think their voice should be able to be heard further down the line. We catch the brunt of it here in these meetings, and we're happy to hear them. But again, when we vote according to what's in front of us, it seems like they're not being heard, but I think their voice needs to be heard even further down the line, if possible. So I don't know who I would need to propose that to, but I just think if their voice is important, and I believe it is, I think it should be heard further in the process.
Commissioner Frierson.
Yeah, I would have to go through and look. There was enough dam failures that I would just need to put eyes on it. So I believe I have it up here. So this is the Lake Elizabeth, and that's where the dam blew out, made the road impassable, and then it took them doing some work to, and they did not restore the dam. They just made it free flowing, and that's a DOT road and project. So yeah, approximately. Yeah, can you type that in? Approximation without going to.
Let's let the staff speak in public. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Yes, Commissioner Metz?
Yeah, I understand how, I guess, how difficult this is for this area. Everybody's concerned for it. I'm just looking at what we have in front of us as well. Like Commissioner Taylor was saying, based off of what this is saying, this is compliant, and that the voices here that these people want to have heard should go say this to council members, I think, because what we have here seems to be what we should be doing, given what the comprehensive plan says. It fits. And I get what everybody's saying. Like, I wouldn't want that either, but we're not in a position to do anything about that. So I think doing what we can and voting for this, because I think that it fits, and them going and telling their council members in the meeting is more effective than telling us.
Thank you, Commissioner Metz. Staff, do you know if a council member was going to have a meeting for this one? Those are new optional meetings that they've been holding over the last couple of years. The process goes historically, Planning Commission, we make a recommendation, and this comes after, it used to come out as a staff recommendation, but really it's does it match the comp plan or not? So that when your county council member is looking at their information, they'll see that whatever's being proposed either matches the comprehensive plan, it's either been recommended, approved, or disapproved by Planning Commission, and then it's on them to make the actual final decision. So staff, do you know if Councilmember Pugh is going to have a meeting for this one?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman, not yet. We had contacted the clerk of council to double check, but wasn't able to receive, either a confirmation of that, because it's not posted on the website, that they will or won't have one. But there's always the possibility that one will be held either prior to or after the zoning public hearing. It just depends on the council members' desires. So, also really quickly, I just want to mention, I did the calculation for the distance between the parcel and the Lake Elizabeth. As the crow flies, it would be 3.63 miles.
Good discussion, Commission. Do we have this wrapped up as a motion? Any brave souls? It's either way it can go, and then we take a vote.
Chair, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to send
This is Commissioner Metz, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to send 24-061 forward with approval.
At a motion for approval, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Sirks. Okay, with the motion and a second for approval, staff, please take a vote.
Durant?
Nay.
Sirks?
Aye.
Yonke?
And aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Frierson? Nay. All right, it is 5-2 for approval.
Thank you, staff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out for this one. This is a recommendation, a split vote of approval to County Council. So again, they will have a zoning public hearing where your voice can be heard once again. So thank you for coming out tonight.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
You want to answer that? I'd heard someone in the audience was asking about the zoning public hearing date. It's
Yes. Sorry, February 25th, correct?
Yes,
7
sir.
p.m., council chambers, same location as we are right now. All right, for everyone else's bedtimes, we'll keep on moving. We are looking at case number 9, right? Okay, yes. Case 9 on our agenda, which is case 25-001. Back to staff.
yes, sir.
And please exit quietly as you go. Thank you.
So the applicant for case 25-001MA is Donald E. Lovett. The location of the properties is multiple parcels is along North Brickyard Road and Hardscrabble Road. There are a number of parcels associated with it. 17300-06-10, which is a portion of R20-100-0501, 02, 04, 05, and 08. The parcels total 11.72 acres. They are currently zoned R2 district, and the proposed rezoning is for the general commercial district. The parcels fall under the neighborhood medium density future land use map recommendation. The request is inconsistent with the recommendations of the comprehensive plan for the neighborhood medium density designation. According to the designation, non-residential development should be located along roads classified as main road corridors. Hardscrabble Road, however, is designated as an undivided minor arterial. Additionally, the parcels do not meet the objective of being within a contextually appropriate distance from the intersection of a primary arterial. The requested zoning district is also inconsistent with the surrounding development pattern and existing zoning districts in the immediate area.
Thank you, staff. Commission, any questions for staff? Hearing none. Commissioner Grady, who signed up to speak?
Yes, it looks like several people working together, so I will try to follow the order in which they wish to speak. So first is Tobias Ward.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. I am Tobias Ward. Most people know me as Toby Ward. I'm an attorney in Columbia, South Carolina, 40 years of practice.
Throw your address in there too, and if you could speak with the mic, I think that helps the staff.
Getting to that part.
Thank you.
Just wanted you to know who I am.
Appreciate it.
And I have lived in Richland County for all of those 40 years. And I currently live at 3012 Glenwood Place, which is in the city of Columbia, and my law office is in 5 Points in the city of Columbia. I have the pleasure to be here tonight to represent the Lovett family. For those of you who don't know the Lovett family, they've been in the Killian area and the northeast area for a long time, and they've only been associated with quality development projects. And that's the case with this property. And they did not come before you with this proposal until they were able to secure public water, public sewer, natural gas, and phase 3 electric power, all of which would support this project. As I said, the family has supported development in this area for a long time because they used to have a farm, Killian Farm, that went from Hardscrabble Road to Clemson Road, and of course we all know what has happened in that area. Farming no longer takes place there, and homes have been developed in a lot of the area. Examples of their developments are the Killian Elementary School, the Sand Hills Community Church, the Walgreens, and the Killian Green subdivision. Now, with that introduction, let me talk about the comprehensive plan. We all know that it was the 2015 comprehensive plan and it's 2025. But the comprehensive plan does say that non-residential development may be considered for location along a main road corridor. And we all know that at long last, Hardscrabble Road has been improved, and that's why we come before you today with this project. The comprehensive plan also says non-residential uses should be designed to be easily accessible to surrounding neighborhoods via multiple transportation modes. And if staff would pull out the map, you will see that this property is actually immediately in the area of 9 subdivisions. That is State Park Acres, Brookstone, Rice Creek, Millbank, Homestead, Clear Springs, Flora Springs Park, Spring Valley, and Spring Valley Extension. All of those are surrounding neighborhoods. I know I'm past my time.
Yeah, let me give you 30 seconds to give you your final thought.
You're gracious, thank you.
I appreciate you.
Traffic will not be drawn to this parcel from areas outside of the community because this will serve those areas in the community, those neighborhoods. Hardscrabble's 4-lane, North Brickyard has 2 lanes with 2 turning lanes. In conclusion, the proposed rezoning should be recommended to council because it is on a 4-lane with sidewalks, that's Hardscrabble, surrounded by 9 subdivisions. It's easily accessible by the 2 roads and the sidewalk on Hardscrabble. It'll reduce the number of vehicles from the 9 neighborhoods needing to go further to shop and will not draw traffic from other areas of the county. Did I do it?
That's a good wrap up. Thank you.
All right.
I'm a minute and over, but thank you. Thank you for coming out.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Next on the list is Terry Taylor.
Oh, Commissioner Taylor?
I was going to ask, but no, apparently not.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Terry Taylor. Address is 300 Colonial Center Parkway, Suite 150, Roswell, Georgia. And I am the developer. My company is Mirabellin Investments, and give you a little bit of idea about our background. I've been either in the engineering or the development of our real estate business since 1980. Mirabellin's been around since 2005, but been in the development business since 1995. We've developed projects all over the Southeast. Our niche, what we probably specialize in, is neighborhood retail projects. And those that serve the area immediately surrounding our project is what we key on. We provide necessity retail, we call it. Many times they're grocery anchored, sometimes they're not, but they do provide a service and goods for the immediately surrounding neighborhoods. We develop first-class projects and have developed neighborhood centers and country clubs and golf course communities, and we specialize in that first-class niche. We're interested in developing this project as neighborhood retail, and it may or may not be grocery anchored. I want to go back over everything that Toby talked about. One thing in the packet that I want to clarify is there is frontage on Hardscrabble as well as North Brickyard. And
I'll sum it in 30 seconds or so?
Yeah, I'll sum it up. The other thing is that the traffic on Hardscrabble last counts was almost 20,000 cars. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next we have Jeff Philpott.
Hey, my name is Jeff Philpott. I live at 49 North Lake Road, Columbia, South Carolina. I'm the pastor of Sand Hills Community Church, immediately adjacent to the property. And I had heard that they were planning to develop it. I am very excited about that as the Northeast area is growing. Now Hardscrabble being a 5-lane road, essentially, if you, I don't know what you do with the suicide lane, but I think the development will be great for the community, and particularly great for our church. So if some of those things develop right next to us, it will certainly aid the convenience for our church and its members. Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
All right, next we have Timothy Wingard.
Tim Wingard, 1208 North Brickyard Road. This property is right across the road in front of me. I see no reason why it shouldn't be approved. It'd be a good asset to the community. You can have the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next is the applicant, Donald Lovett.
My name is Don Lovett. I live at 7550 Irmo Drive in Columbia, South Carolina. I grew up on my Lovett family's approximately 200-acre farm in Keene, South Carolina. The farm extended from Hardscrabble Road to Clemson Road. There were 9 children in my family. My father, mother, and 7 of my brothers and sisters are all deceased. Only my sister Jackie Levitt Henson and I are still alive. My sister Jackie currently lives in a nursing facility. Jackie's house on Hardscrabble Road is vacant. There are only 2 houses on this 11.72 acres. The 2 houses belong to my sisters, Jackie and Gwen. My deceased sister, Gwen's home, and her lives on her 2 acres on North Brickyard Road, is currently rented month to month for a children's daycare facility. The additional 7.72 acres is vacant land, which is controlled by my signature. We want to sell this combined 11.72 acres to Maribland Investments for a grocery store, which will serve as an anchor for other smaller retail establishments on this property. My sister Gwen's 2 children, Jennifer and Troy, as well as my sister Jackie's 2 children, Byron and Kevin, are all in agreement with this rezoning request. On behalf of my family, I request that the Richland County Planning Commission approve general commercial zoning for this combined 11.72 acres. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It does look like there's one more name, but I cannot make it out. So if anyone else would like to speak on this case, please feel free to come down.
I think that was everyone. Okay.
All we've got then.
Thank you for, again, everyone who's come out to speak tonight and will speak soon. Commission, this is open on the floor for discussion. Yes, Commissioner Durant.
Question for staff. Can you show me on the map where the next closest general commercial area is?
Yes, Commissioner Grady.
Question for staff, and I feel like we have trod this ground a few times, but for the record and for the awareness of the public, would it be possible to explain the difference between a primary arterial and a minor arterial, and whether the upgrades to Hardscrabble Road could alter that designation in any way?
All right, just give me one moment to pull up my handy dandy land development code, and I will read directly from it. So So a minor arterial is a SCDOT designated roadway as depicted on the functional classification map for the Columbia urbanized area that carries a mix of local and through traffic in which links collector roads and sometimes local streets with principal arterials. A principal arterial road is a SCDOT roadway as depicted in its functional classification map for the Columbia urbanized area that is primarily intended to provide traffic service between urban areas. I think for the purposes of the comp plan and those designations, the roads were used as part of that. We had, in our previous code, the 2005 code that this comp plan was adopted under, it had the different road types defined in it as well. So I believe that was rolled in with the 2015 comp plan. Hardscrabble Road is currently classified as, sorry, as I look it up to make sure I'm correctly, so actually if we can pull it up on the DOT website, we can see what it is. But my understanding from previous cases is that those roadway designations, while the increase in lanes may provide for additional level of service, so it may bring it up into basically, for instance, if it was an F, by adding the lanes, it could, make it a C, make it function at capacity. But it doesn't always necessarily change the road type and how it functions. That was what was explained to staff in a previous inquiry. But, of course, things could change, but that was the latest and greatest that we received when we asked for guidance regarding that.
Thank you.
And then Mr. Smith's going to double check on the road type just to make sure and see if they've updated it as well.
Looks like SCDOT makes you dig for it.
Yes, and I think this computer is lucky because it starts in the center of the state. Mine always starts in Camden for some reason on my desktop. So it looks like this is a minor arterial.
Just out of curiosity, do we know how SCDOT defines these? Is there a certain traffic count or other data that goes into these categorizations?
That is a good question. So my understanding is the definitions and basically what DOT has stuff for like their driveway separations. So basically the speed limit is supposed to be between different driveways. Most that information is from what their language. Beyond that, I would kind of refer back to the definition of how the road is kind of functioning. Its service is either to provide a linkage between local and collector roads to, arterials, or in cases where you have the minors that basically you're supposed to connect the major arterials. But beyond that, I wouldn't be able to speak if there's any other data that they use to classify them.
Question.
Mr. Taylor?
Based on the map you just brought up, and to piggyback on Commissioner Durant's question, the next closest general commercial appeared to be on, was it Sloan and Hardscrabble? Yeah. Aren't those the same? Well, it may be, who knows how old it is, but.
So that is if you are traveling up Hardscrabble Road, south to north. Most people, that's where the big tower is. However, I will mention that the parcel to the north of that, I am unsure of the new designation under the code, but that received an approval for a change in zoning from a residential to a commercial. I want to say within the last 15 years, but after 17 years here, starting to run together a little bit. But that was rezoned by Planning Commission and County Council.
And it is the same road types as the request for tonight, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Commission, further thoughts or a possible motion?
One more thought, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Durant.
For staff, in your conclusion, you say that the neighborhood medium density designation, that's where non-residential development should be located along roads classified as main road corridors. Is that a hard and fast rule, or are there instances around the county where minor arterials have general commercial zoning on it?
So there are other places where I would say there are even recent map amendments where general commercial exists and have made recommendations for approval. I believe if it's not last month, it might be November. We had a similar. Well, I don't want to say similar. Sorry, we had a road type that was a minor Dutch Fork Road, if I'm not mistaken, on the section of Ballantyne. Sorry, I'm just conferring with Mr. Smith to make sure I'm recalling correctly. That was more of a recent case, but there are other locations that are minor arterials around the county that do have commercial zoning designations.
Thanks, staff. Right. Other discussion or a motion?
Here.
Yes, Commissioner Grady.
I would like to advance case 25-001MA to County Council with a recommendation of approval. The rationale being that while Hardscrabble Road does not meet the SCDOT definition of a primary arterial, it represents a major road with substantial traffic, and therefore general commercial designation would be an appropriate land use in this area.
Thank you, Commissioner Grady. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I heard Metz first, so second from Commissioner Metz. Okay, with a vote and a second, staff, I'm gonna take a vote, and it's for approval.
Frierson? Taylor?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Grady?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Durant?
Aye.
All right, the vote is unanimous for approval.
Thank you, staff. I'll repeat it again. February 25th, 7 p.m. County Council will meet in these chambers and discuss this property, and we gave it a recommendation of approval.
And Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So also want to mention too that this particular case will also be up for a town hall meeting on February the 13th at 6 p.m.
As people are walking out right now, remember, February 13th, town hall meeting with your councilman,
And that'll be at Killian Park.
Killian Park. Thank you. Thank you. Safe travels. All right. We're on the next page. Thank you for everyone still here hanging in. Case number 10,
All right, so
case 25-002.
my apologies for jumping the gun, Mr. Chair. Yes, so Brandon Pridemore is the applicant. The location is 800 Mountain Valley Road. Parcel is R12400-0222. The acreage is 198.84 acres. Existing zoning is AG. The proposed zoning is R3. The comprehensive plan designation on the future land use map is a neighborhood low density. The proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives for the neighborhood low density designation that encourages low density traditional neighborhood development and open space developments that preserve open spaces and natural features. The proposed zoning district does not provide for a density that is supportive of this recommendation.
Thank you, staff. Commissioners, questions for staff?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Grady?
So since this parcel is adjacent to the town of Blythewood, I'm just curious. I see it in the write-up that that is designated as an R12 under Blythewood's zoning statute. So is there anything you can tell us about what that means, what that entails, what that would correspond to in the county's rubric?
Yes, so I will pull that up very quickly. But I can tell you that residential district, and we'll double check on what it'll most align to here briefly.
And commission, as staff's looking this up, just note that this case and the next one we're looking at are kind of sister parcels. We're tasked with looking at these individually, but just keep it in mind. Maybe for time's sake, go through our names, hear from the public, and give staff time to pull up the zoning?
Sure.
Okay, and circle back to that.
All right, so first person signed up to speak is the applicant, Brandon Pridemore.
Good evening. I know it's been a long night. Brandon Pridemore, 1186 Stonecrest Boulevard, TKK, South Carolina. I am a development and civil engineering consultant here on behalf of the property owners and the developer. Just wanted to say the site currently, as we look at the comp plan, is not in conformance, but we also look at the bigger picture of what's happened in that area with Scout being there. We are on the west side of the interstate, and back behind the Scout as the crow flies, we're within a third to half a mile of that site. So we just felt like this was a good opportunity to supplement probably the housing needs that are going to be coming with the Scout industry. As we look at it, as we talk about growth patterns and maybe the comparison to Blythewood, Blythewood basically allows about 2 units an acre. And while the R3 zoning district has a stated density of 6 units per acre, just because of geometry, topography, environmental concerns, all that, we'll be nowhere close to that. As a matter of fact, our projection is that we're going to land somewhere right around 1.8 units per acre. So it's going to be relatively low density given the location. I think the development pattern housing that you're going to see is be complementary to what's there. What we'd like to do and why we wanted to stay in the county is the county ordinances would provide us a little bit more flexibility than what Blythewood would do. And we'd like to be able to offer, given the size of these two parcels, and to Chairman Yonke's point that these two projects are connected, this one and the next one, I'm only going to speak once on it unless you have any questions for me, is that given the size of the parcels, we'd like to be able to be flexible and offer different price points, but be very, I guess, cognizant of what the market looks like for that area. So the other thing we want to look at is, besides the Scout, is we do have water available. It runs right through the property, a big 48-inch water line with the City of Columbia. We verified that. Sewer is readily accessible nearby. And as we look at the traffic for the area, I know, a lot of roads in South Carolina are not perfect by any means, but this is well positioned that we have direct access to Highway 321, Highway 21, and the interstate. We got 3 intersections that are all within 5-10 minutes of that location. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have, and thank you for your time.
And I'll give you the bonus 30 seconds since you said you don't want to talk for the next.
Well, what we'd say is that, one of the other things too, we're looking to build a community out of this, not just housing per se. So this plan that the concept that we have is going to be, a lot of open space, a lot of interspersed amenities, central amenities. So we want to create a destination place for people to enjoy. And we just felt like, again, given what it is, it also provides a good tax base, I believe, for the county. It's going to be developed at some point for residential, more than likely, but at this point, it seems beneficial for the county to be able to benefit from it as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next person signed up to speak is Mark Johnston.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Mark Johnston. I live at 419 Mount Valley Road. And as Mr. Pridemore mentioned, there is a lot of development and expansion going on because of Scout. And a bunch of us that live along in that area don't want that. Additional neighborhoods, additional traffic. The 2 parcels in question are fed by a dirt road currently, and most of the land around there, with the exception of one large development, housing development next door, is low density houses, so homes that have 3 to 5 acres on them, and the existing R3 designation, I did the math according to y'all's agenda, would allow up to 1,800 homes on there. And with all due respect to Mr. Pridemore, that they don't have any desire to do that. I'm just really, really concerned about the continuing sprawl, whether it's Scout or anything else. Those of us that live there are there for a reason. We enjoy the woods, the animals, everything that the rural area gives you. And the existing designation, I think, was very appropriate, and I hope that the Planning Commission will keep that designation. And since they are joined with the other parcel, my comments are the same for the other parcel as well. So I do thank y'all for your time.
All right, next we have Pam Johnston. Okay.
Thank you.
And we also have Janet Robinson.
Janet Robinson, 1170 Halls Pond Road. My concern is density. My concern is infrastructure again, because Mount Valley Road will dump out onto Swigert Road, which if you go one way on Swigert, you go to 321. If you go another way on Swigert, you go to Fulmer Road. Fulmer Road then can either take you into Blythewood to Blythewood Road, Turkey Farm Road, which is going to be further impacted, keep that in mind, or Wilson Boulevard. Every single one of these outlets are 2-lane roads. So it is nice to hear that there may be less than 2 homes per acre, but in reality, we all know that once it's rezoned, you can't go back. And so what if the topography allows for 6 houses per acre? And we're looking at 1,800 homes and the cars, the children, the schools. Currently, this county does not have impact fees on developers. And that's another thing that I really hope that we look at, because we, the taxpayers that have supported this community for decades, are bearing the brunt of them walking away with fat pockets, and we're dealing with every other issue that comes to town. So for me, it's a big fat no. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that is everyone we have signed up to speak on both this case and the next case.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Back to staff. Yes, thank you.
Just to go back to the previous question about the R12 district, we were able to look up the Town of Blythewood zoning ordinance. So the R12 district in the allowed dwelling units per acre is more similar to our current R2 district. So just wanted to mention that, that we were able to look that information up, and the R2 is the most similar zoning district to the Town of Blythewood's adjacent single-family zoning.
Thank you, staff. Let's look at that map again. Comments. I just want to repeat, the dirt road, or this might even be landlocked. Is that true, staff?
So Mount Valley Road currently is a named driveway for E911 purposes. So if, regardless of the zoning, if they intended to subdivide the property, they would need to secure either direct access to a public road or right-of-way, or in certain cases, they would have to do air property, which is basically, is exactly what it sounds like. You'd be airing your property or giving it away to a designated individual. So if you were to rezone it, as part of that, their development requirements, they would have to provide access. Depending on the number of lots, they may have to provide multiple accesses. So, but as it currently is, Mount Valley is just a named driveway for E911 purposes, at least along the portion of the property.
Is that Scott Motors when you had Google Maps open a second ago? Or here too?
That's correct, yes.
I noticed these parcels actually did touch wetlands. Parcel again? Commission, discussion, questions, motions. I'm sorry if I'm hogging the floor.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Durant.
When we get to the point of a motion, do we handle both of these map amendments at once or each separately?
They are separate case numbers. I believe we have to vote for them separately. Yep. Staff, would it be okay to take them back to back? Is there any more information in the packet for case number, is it 10?
Yes, so
11?
My suggestion would be, typically make a motion on this one, and then you can basically, we'll go through a quick little, hey, this is similar introductory to what the case is, tax map number, reference that stuff, and then at that point you can open the floor to comment, and if there's no comments because everyone's basically said that they're not, go ahead and then make a motion. That way it's still a clear kind of separate motion and second and actual vote on each item.
And please highlight the one that we're looking at now. Thank you. Commission, any motions or discussion? Where we are. Okay. Yes, Commissioner Durant?
I move that we forward map amendment project 25-002 MA to County Council for recommendation of disapproval. Not compliant with the 2015 comprehensive plan with objectives for the neighborhood low density.
Thank you, Commissioner Durant. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Commissioner Sirks. Okay. With a motion on the floor, this would be for disapproval. A motion and a second for disapproval. Staff, please take a vote.
All right. Frierson? Taylor?
Aye.
Metz?
Aye.
Grady?
No.
Yonke?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Durant?
Aye.
All right, so it's a 6-1 approval,
For disapproval.
or for disapproval, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, let me make that
Recommendation,
clear.
disapproval.
Rec-
Yes. Thank you, staff. Okay. And I would say February 25th, 7 PM, council chambers. Thank you for coming out, and then we would go to the next case.
And Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
So also, same is true of the next case that is located at 700 Mount Valley. Both the previous case and the current case, so 800 Mount Valley Road and 700 Mount Valley Road, will be there'll be a town hall, Doku Manor, at 6 p.m. on February the 6th.
Oku Manor, February 6th. At what time?
At 6 p.m.
6 PM. The 6th at 6. All right. Just make sure everybody got it. Okay. Thank you. So we will now go to case number 11 on our agenda, which is case 25-003.
Yes. So the applicant is Brandon Pridemore. The parcel location is 700 Mount Valley Road. The parcel was zoned AG, and the request is to the R3 district. It is a 111.41 acres, and tax map number R12400-0223. Similar to the last case, it is in the neighborhood low density district. The proposed rezoning is not compliant with the objectives for the neighborhood low density. This designation encourages low density traditional neighborhood development and open space developments that preserve the open space and natural features. Proposed rezoning district does not provide for a density that's supported of this recommendation.
Thank you, staff. Any questions for staff on this one? Hearing none. Any new people sign up to speak for this one?
No, same. people
Same
as the last case.
comments? Okay. Anyone who signed up to speak need to speak again on this one for fairness, since you did sign up twice. No? Okay. All the order. Thank you. So we would have heard from everybody, and then I would have said, discussion. Is there any further discussion? No. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Durant.
I move that we forward map amendment 25-003 MA to County Council with a recommendation of this based on the fact that it's not compliant with the objectives of the 2015 comprehensive plan regarding
Thank you, Commissioner Durant. Do we have a second? We got a second from Ms. Frierson. Hello down there. All right. With a motion and a second, this is for disapproval. Please take a vote, staff.
All right. Durant?
Aye.
Sirks?
Aye.
Yonke?
Aye.
Grady?
No.
Metz?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Frierson? So that's a 6-1 approval for the recommendation of disapproval.
Disapproval. So both these properties, again, are going to come up for a zoning public hearing with county council on February 25th at 7 p.m. And this is going to have that town hall meeting at the Doku
That's
Center?
correct.
All right, at the 6th at 6 p.m.
Got That's correct.
Coffee's keeping me going. All right.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Taylor.
I thought I heard something, when this one was being read, I thought the acreage was read as 112 or 111.
It was 111.41 acres.
Our packet has 64 point.
Page are we looking at, Commissioner Taylor?
111, page 111.
Was this one of the revisions that we made for the agenda?
Let me double check.
Checking the acre.
I would need to go back to double check the email to see if that was one of the
I
amendments listed,
apologize, I
but-
didn't print the correction, so it may be corrected, but.
When we checked it against the GIS, did it show 111 acres?
Packet that was.
So according to the application, it's 111.41, so we'll make a note to change that.
Yes. It matches GIS.
Is that the one?
Mhm.
Yes, sorry.
I
That's
see it.
correct.
This is a public website, by the way, that I use. If you like maps and have fun, richlandmaps.com. Okay, we're gonna move on to case number 12. Home stretch, everyone. Thanks for hanging in. Case 25-004 MA. Back to staff.
All right, the applicant for this case is Carol Crooks. The requested, or the current zoning is AG, and the parcel is 10.55 acres. The requested zoning is HM. It's located at 624 Langford Road, tax map number R20600-0104, and it is a portion of the property that is being requested to rezone. The comprehensive plan designates this as neighborhood medium density on the future land use map. The proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives for the neighborhood low density, which recommends low density housing developments within these areas. The proposed request does not meet the density recommendations of the neighborhood low density designation.
Thank you, staff. Questions for staff? Commissioner Durant.
Staff, just a quick question. The parcel that we're looking at is the same as across Langford Road.
Yes, so looking at it, there is surrounding it some AG parcels in the immediate area, and then there's also HM. Just quickly want to note too, kind of similar to the case on Sandfield, we're fairly close. The Langford Road acts as a dividing line between future land use classifications. Kind of similar to, or like the Sandfield Road, sorry, been a long night, kind of falls under that density recommendation, and based off of the proposed HM district, it wouldn't meet the request, or excuse me, the proposal for higher density that's called in the comp plan, so I just wanted to point that out.
Staff, the shapes differ from our map on page 126 from the GIS.
Yes, so the portion of that is being rezoned is that southern parcel. It is part of a larger tract, but the parcel to the north is not part of the request. But it is currently one parcel.
Also not the part that touches Wade Kelly Road. According to the map on the left of the screen.
Mike was not on. Sorry. Yes, that's correct.
Any other questions for staff, commission?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Serks.
question for staff. Could you point out on the map that's currently which parcels in the immediate surrounding area are currently zoned as HM? Just because some of the colors are kind of running together on my map, or a little hard to differentiate.
I would have the same question. Thank you, Commissioner Serks.
And Mr. Smith is clicking on some of the parcels to kind of show the different zoning designations now. So it looks like to the north, you're looking at HM. And then there's some kind of south, or where his marker is, it's showing the RT district. And then that parcel that was just highlighted to the kind of northeast is HM as well. And looks like the parcel that kind of completes the block is also zoned HM to the south.
Do we know which map is slightly more current when we look at these? Because the one in our packet seems to have different colors than the one on the map. Unless I'm looking at it wrong.
Actually, the one on the left of the screen seems to have it's classified with the case number. Maybe it's me, but that was.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, we can go back and double check it. If I don't have access to our planning drive, where I can pull up our scan zoning maps, but based on, I'd have to double check the acreage, but depending on what the acreage is, and it could be the color on here too, just in how it's showing up, but it's hard to say. I could say I have trouble sometimes, looking at the different similar shades of green when it comes to the AG, HM, and then the RT districts.
So basically, in this triangle of road, we're looking at what is AG. They want to go to HM. Everything else around it is already HM. Am I right? Inside of the triangle of road.
So it looks like, can you click on the parcel to the east, that's the point? Because that looks like that's a RT, yeah. So based on the acreage, yeah, that'd be an RT district. And then you said the parcel that kind of creates the remainder of the block, so the one to the south, just below where the cursor is? Yeah, so that would be the HM district, so the requested zoning would be consistent with that.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments before we go to the public? All right, hearing none and wanting to keep us moving. Commissioner Grady, go ahead.
First person signed up to speak is the applicant, Carol Crooks.
I'm Carol Crooks, and I live at 651 Langford Road in Blythewood. I live directly across the street from that triangle. The home that's HM right above it, that's me. I have owned this property since I was 18 years old. And it was always my intention, I've never sold an inch of any of it, to use it for retirement. I was kind of blindsided by the AG zoning. I didn't really see it coming. This was RU before. And the only thing I want to sell is the 10.55 acres. I've actually already sold, because the maps are a little different, because where it says site on the one to the left, I sold 1.33 acres because I had it surveyed out before this happened to me. All I'm looking to do is divide the 10.5 acres I've got left into 3 2-acre parcels and 1 larger parcel, which would be directly across the street from my house, which I would not sell. And I live across the street from it. I want it to look nice. I put restrictions on the 1.33 acres for minimum square footage. I do the same for the other 3 parcels. I don't even want to sell them all at once. I just want to sell them one at a time as I need funding to do repairs to my house or whatever I need money for. I'm not a developer. I'm just somebody that got kind of in a strange situation with this whole AG, because my 2 parcels were tied together for tax purposes, and they ended up, there are 34.25 acres together, and I think the trigger for AG was 34. So that's the situation I'm in. I'm just asking for it to go to what is consistent with what's around it, as you guys have already noticed yourselves without me even having to point it out. So I think that's pretty much sums up what I have to say. So thank you.
Perfect timing. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Lance Heyman.
How y'all doing? I'm actually here. I didn't know what was going on. Me and my wife actually, I'm Lance Heyman,
Yeah, let's get
182 Lambert Lane, Blythewood.
Thank you.
Me and my wife were actually the family couple that bought the acreage from Miss Crooks. So we just saw the sign, didn't know what was going on, figured we needed to be here to find out what was going on. So that's why I'm here. So that's it.
Would you say you're in favor or against?
In favor.
There we
Of
go.
course, in favor. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we also have April Heyman.
That was my wife. She's already gone.
She's gone, okay. Next, we have TJ and Kim Lancaster.
I'm TJ Lancaster. I live at 641 Langford Road, Blythewood, South Carolina. Carol's my neighbor. I live directly across the street from the property in question, and I'm in favor of her being able to get this proposed zoning change. That's it.
Thank you.
Last person we have signed up, Toby Wood or Ward.
I won't give you the long, old lawyer introduction. There are 2 contiguous parcels in the triangle.
We need the name and address
I
again.
have Toby Ward, 3012 Glenwood Place. 2 contiguous parcels in the triangle. One's HM, one's RT. We now know that the piece, the 1.33 where it says site, I believe is HM too, or HM also. 4 of the surrounding parcels are HM. 11 of the surrounding parcels are RT. The zoning classification SALT, that is HM, is actually less dense than the predominant RT zoning in the area. And less density, bigger lots is what everybody wants in this area. The site has public road frontage, as you can see, on both Langford Road and Round Top Church Road, so it's got good access. Blythewood Fire Station and Langford Road Elementary are nearby, so those services are readily available. The proposed rezoning should be recommended to council because it is actually, HM is very low density as opposed to what is suggested, which is low density or low intensity. So, we're seeking a down zoning. It's consistent with and less dense than what is recommended by the comprehensive plan. Road and services are available. It's very low intensity. It won't generate significant traffic. I think 7 units is what staff said would be the max. So we would ask you to send this forward to county council with a recommendation in favor of the rezoning. Thank you very much.
All right, that's all we have to speak on this case.
Okay, commission, open on the floor for discussion or motions. Questions for staff as well. Staff, the threshold for AG to HM, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it 35 acres?
That's correct.
Acreage on this property?
It was 34.42.
Somehow it became AG. Maybe it rounded up.
That is the potential. Also, some of the, I'll have to go back and look at the exact provisions because it is close enough, but I have just received some information. One action that the Planning Commission could take because of the fact that we want to verify the acreage to see if it is incorrectly listed. You could always defer the case to next month. And we could always confirm that it is an error that somehow either it rounded up, by accident. So that's an option. It is really up to y'all, but I would offer that. That would give staff time to verify, to go back to look at the language that was proposed for the remapping, that criteria, and also just to verify that if there was an acreage error, that it's not already zoned something else.
That provide any benefit for the applicant?
Regardless of, the outcome, it still allows them the opportunity to come forth, under and request that zoning district, if it's deferred. There was a provision where it was a free, rezoning, if, your AG going to RTHM with it, and that is from March 1 to last 1 year. This is already in the pipeline, so that would not affect that in any kind of way, shape, or form. Best case scenario, we come to find out it was a mistake and it's actually zoned something else based on the acreage, which would potentially be HM, because that would be the next step down. So that would mean that it would make the rezoning not necessary, and if that's the case.
Which path is easier for the applicant?
I guess it just depends on how much of a hurry they're in. The easiest thing is that staff should be able to verify the acreage pretty quickly. That being a couple of days. I don't want to promise anything just in case there's something really weird with the acreage and we have to do a lot of digging with register of deeds and stuff like that, or the assessor's office. But that could be found out fairly quickly. If they get deferred a month, it basically turning a 3-month process into a 4-month process, but wouldn't necessarily, again, prevent them from continuing on with the map amendment if they're deferred.
Thank you, staff. I usually don't do this to my commission, but I would just make a motion of approval. I know it goes against the comp plan. If the acreage, being that close and hearing from the direct neighbors, the chair would make a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, got a second from, I heard you even though I saw you, so I'll just give it to Durant, Commissioner Durant. And let's just take a vote. It's not hasty. I actually feel this way about this property. So go ahead, staff. This would be a recommendation of approval.
All right. Frierson? Taylor?
Aye.
Metz,
Aye.
Grady,
Aye.
Yonke,
Aye.
Sirks,
Aye.
Durant.
Aye.
All right, it is unanimous for approval.
Maybe make a note for county council of the acreage.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner
Question.
Taylor?
I just want to make sure I understood what was being said about the deferral. If it was determined that it was erroneously classified, or is that what we were trying to determine? That based on acreage, it could have been possibly erroneously classified?
That's correct. So just to kind of add on to that, so if staff, let's just say this week goes on and finds out that there was some kind of error that would change the zoning classification, we would just not include it on the zoning public hearing and inform the applicant. But I don't think necessarily you did wrong by making a motion or taking action on it, because staff will still look into it before the zoning public hearing.
But I guess my question is, if the applicant didn't have to apply, was there a fee for her to apply?
No, sir. So if it was submitted within that year timeframe from March 1 of 2024 to March 1 of 2025, it's a free rezoning if you are a AG, HM, or RT, and you're requesting one of those other districts. So
Staff, in regards to that, did everyone get in that you've heard from, with March 1 being our next meeting? Does that mean this period has come to a close?
So it will for the free rezonings. However, that would not mean that county council could not, potentially vote to extend that or reinstate that at some point in the future. So I am getting an update from the deputy director that based off of the fact that the zoning maps are officially adopted, even if it was in error based on the acreage, that they would still need to go through the full process of going through the rezoning. So my apologies for the confusion.
No worries, we made our motion today, so, okay.
Correct, so we have
Recommendation.
not delayed it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may be heard on one point.
30 seconds, go ahead.
Oh, it'll be quicker than that.
Yeah.
It's my understanding under the state ordinance, state law, that if you had deferred it, it would go forward as recommended approval, because you don't have the authority to hold things back on a deferral. So I think you did the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Under
sir.
30 seconds.
Okay, you did great. Okay, case number 13, who's been holding out, waiting for us? Wave, are you for 13? All right, thank you for your patience, sir. All right,
That makes sense.
we are gonna get rolling on this one. So it's case 25-005. Going to staff.
All right, so the applicant is Michael Schroeder. The parcel is located at 520 Todd Branch Drive. Tax map number R17115-01-18. It is 3.8 acres. The existing zoning is R3. The proposed zoning is the R4 district. It is located in the neighborhood medium density future land use map designation area. The proposed rezoning is inconsistent with the objectives of the comprehensive plan. According to the plan, the primary use within this area is medium density residential neighborhoods designed to provide a mix of residential uses and densities within the neighborhood, or neighborhoods, excuse me. The requested zoning designation does not align with the existing zoning districts in the immediate area.
Staff, commissioners, questions for staff? Hearing none.
All right,
So,
the only
Commissioner
person
Grady.
signed up to speak is the applicant, Michael Schroeder.
Come on down.
I was all nervous about public speaking again after so many years. I'm Michael Schroeder, 832 Drawdy Bill Road, Gilbert, South Carolina, way out in the middle of nowhere. My family has owned this particular piece of property since 1971. When we purchased it, it was zoned light industrial. And if you have the picture of the actual property, you'll see a bunch of crap up there. And that was the nicest euphemism I can give you for it right this moment. We've used it for various businesses over the years. At this point in time, it doesn't make sense to continue running business out of there, as I'm out in Gilbert at this point in time. So we'd like to turn it into a single-family subdivision, single-family home, detached single-family home subdivision consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. The rest of the neighborhood is zoned R4. The two issues that we had are A, it runs into that floodplain, although over the 40 or 50 years that we've owned it, we've raised the property up by about 4 feet. So we have to cross Ts and dot Is on that. And also there is an unofficial easement on the far right-hand side where it's, on the far right-hand side is probably the easiest way to say it, right? Yeah, right next to that particular house. There's an unofficial easement down there that the R4 designation will give us the ability to put 3, possibly 4, two-bedroom, two-bathroom houses there that are not attached but relatively close together. And then the parking lot for those 3, possibly 4 houses can actually continue to be the easement back to Little Jackson Creek down there to give whoever manages Little Jackson Creek sewer system down there access. Everything we're trying to do is consistent with what the neighborhood is, and we are the only, if you drive into that neighborhood, you come down all the way into where we're at, we're the only business and vacant property in the entire area.
All right, sir. Thank you, and thank you especially for your patience tonight. Anyone else sign up to speak?
That's correct.
Commission, this is on the floor for discussion and questions for staff.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Grady?
I would like to make a motion to send case 25-005MA to County Council with a recommendation of approval, and the rationale for that being that the R4 zoning designation is consistent with neighboring land uses.
Thank you, Commissioner Grady. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Commissioner Durant. With that, staff, we're gonna take a vote for approval. Take it away.
Aye.
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 Thank you, Commission. Thank you, staff. Recommendation of approval, February 25th, 7 p.m. We knew case 13 was gonna be so easy, could have moved it. But we do take them as they come in to the staff. So thank you again for your patience. Okay, so we can move along on our meeting now. That closes out. Well, B or C, if it was corrected in the agenda, as it should be. Administrative review, that was deferred or pulled out.
That's
for
correct.
This month. So that takes us to 6, Chairman's report? Right,
That's correct.
okay. Oh, that's me. I'm honored to be your chair again this year. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time you spend every month visiting properties and doing research. Again, you know, we're volunteers, so thank you for your time away from your families late at night on a Monday and throughout the weeks that you spend to do your service to the county. So thank you. That's all the chairman has today. We move on to 7, which is Planning Director's report. Mr. DeLage.
So there are 2 items underneath here. The first item is just a report of council on their actions taken on the map amendments that y'all made recommendations on. And then the second part is the comprehensive plan update, which Mr. Smith will be providing that.
Sure. So the comprehensive plan, we've been doing a series of public engagements. Last one being last week in the Ballantyne area during a rezoning map amendment request town hall. We plan to have more public engagements coming up. We've collected a lot of data. We're supposed to have a team meeting this Thursday about those findings potentially and what those results may have produced. But at this time, we don't have any specific dates for any other public engagements. We should have more information for everyone by the next meeting. So we are ending our phase 1 part of the process. However, the surveys will remain open for additional comments and additional comments and data to be acquired. But for the reasons of keeping things on track, we have to start using the data that we've acquired throughout these other public engagements that we've done during phase 1. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Your hard work on this. Looking forward to helping out. Anything else for the planning director's report?
No, sir.
Number 8, other items. Any other items to discuss?
No, Mr. Chair, there are no other items for discussion.
Commission, any other items to discuss? Nope. Except for number 9, which is adjournment. We will take a vote for adjournment by a show of hands.
All right.
Unanimous?
It is a unanimous approval for adjournment.
All right, thank you, staff. Thank you, commission.